Hi guys, hello and welcome to another C# programming tutorial. In this tutorial, we will be solving your assignment 3 part B. Now, this is where I ask you to solve a business problem to calculate hourly employees' gross pay. Accept from user hourly rate and hours worked. This is the formula that you will use, and then display the gross pay. For this problem, you have to draw the flowchart, then write the pseudocode, and then develop a console application for this problem, converting pseudocode to console, and then also develop a graphical user interface form-based C# solution. Now, let's walk through the process. So what I did, I created a couple of slides on which I rewrote the problem, and with this one, I will be drawing my flowchart, and then on the next one, we'll be writing our pseudocode. Now, looking at the problem itself, we see that in this problem, we are to calculate hourly employees' gross pay, or employees' hourly gross pay. And from user, we will be accepting hourly rate and hours worked. That's what we'll be accepting. So we need two variables for that purpose. And we need a third variable to display the gross pay. So as you remember, the flowchart symbols here, we have the terminal symbols, terminator symbols, which are the start and the stop symbols. And then in PowerPoint, you can use a shortcut Control D to create a duplicate. Okay. Now, so this is my start and this is my stop. As you see over here, I need three variables, and it's a declare statement. And declare statement is neither an input nor an output. So rather, it is a statement which is a processing instruction. So I can say I would like to declare the three variables, which are gross pay, hours worked, and hourly rate. Okay. And then I need to input the two variables. So for input, we use the parallelogram symbol. So here's my parallelogram symbol that I'm using to accept the input of hourly rate. So accept or read, well, you could use whatever of the two approaches you want to use, hourly rate. And then I'll duplicate this symbol as well. And here we have read hours worked. Okay, so we have those variables done. Remember, when we are writing things in English, we can use the spaces and stuff like that, but in programming, you cannot use spaced names for the names of the variables, as we learned. Okay, so after we accept the two inputs from user, what are we doing? We are calculating with the help of the formula. So again, a rectangular symbol to calculate. So we use set as a keyword, as all statements have to start with a command word. So now what are we setting? We are setting gross pay to be the product of hours worked and hourly rate. Okay, so that being done, now it's time to display, which is also a parallelogram symbol, and we will type display, and this is gross pay. A very simple flowchart we have here. The only thing I'm missing right now in this process are my arrows, okay, which is my flow. So I can grab my arrow from here, and I can drag and draw one, and then I can duplicate that. So pretty much that takes care of my flowchart. So I can select all, I can move it, whatever. Okay, so now the flowchart is done. Now let's go to the pseudocode. Something very simple as before. I mean, like, I'll just drag and draw a rectangular box. Or if you want, you can also drag and draw a text. Okay. Now, same process. We need to declare. So all of these instructions, instead of being in symbol, can be easily inside a declaration box. So declare. Now, to be on the safe side, or rather to be more closer to the code, we will going to be doing some write and reads, because we need to be telling the user what we expect from the user. So we'll say enter hourly rate, and then we read hourly rate. Similarly, we will say enter hours worked, and then we will accept from the user hours worked. Okay. Once we have both items, we will then calculate the value of gross pay based on the formula I already gave you, which is hours worked times hourly rate. It doesn't really matter if you do hourly rate times hour worked or hour worked times hourly rate. It just does the same thing. And finally, you display the gross pay is this. So that takes care of your pseudocode. Now we will translate this logic that we have drafted into the console application. So let me open Microsoft Visual Studio, in which I'll create a new C# console app. We will call this one Assignment 3 Part B. And then first of all, I will paste the pseudocode, and I'll make some changes to it. Prior to that, I will be writing the statement using static system dot console. Okay, so once I do this, I will just paste over here my pseudocode. Now you notice that it will be an error because it's not a valid C# instruction, but we're going to be converting that into valid C# instructions. So this is the declaration for the 3 double variables. All the writes will actually be changed to the write instruction, just like that. I may have to replace my double quotes because C# doesn't understand these double quotes. And my read instruction in C#, as you have learned in our class sessions, is that you have to convert to double in this case, because whatever is coming through read is of string type. Okay, so once you do this, you can copy this and paste this, and we will just change the message to enter hours worked. Now that's the beauty of copy pasting, right? So hours worked, and I can get rid of that. Okay, now comes the formula, which is gross pay is equals to hours worked times hourly rate, semicolon. Okay, and finally my output, which is write line gross pay, and then concatenate that with gross pay. If you want to convert it into a currency format, you can also do so, and I can write the read instruction to hold the screen. Done. Okay, let's test this. So what we will be doing in this program, as the program asks, accept 2 inputs, calculate the output in a formula, and then display the output. Okay, so let's say the hourly rate is $10, the hours work is 15, so 10 times 15 is 150. Just a quick fix here, since I missed a colon, I will be writing the colon here, maybe a little space after the colon, and let's retest this so that you could see it working again. So here we go. We enter the hourly rate of 10, hours worked 15, and it's 150. So that takes care of that. Now I will be copying this instruction set, and I will be taking this into my graphical user interface application. Now remember, in a graphical user interface application, this is how you will look at it. Since I have 2 inputs and 1 output, that means I will have 3 text boxes, 2 for input, 1 for output. And the 3 writes I have, that means I will need 3 labels, and all of this code will be controlled by the button. So let's quickly open a C# forms application here, okay? And all the inputs and outputs will be in text boxes, and their labels will tell what we expect to display there. So I will be grabbing the 3 labels here, okay? And then I will be grabbing the 3 text boxes. So text box, and a text box. And I will be needing a button, okay? Now I can set the properties, which I've already taught you in class, that how you can set the properties by increasing the font size, and then you can move things around to better fit it on the screen. Let me quickly change the text on the label. It's a text property. So the first one is enter hours worked. Okay. And then the second one can be enter hourly rate. Calculate gross pay, and then the last one will be the gross pay. Now let me give them some meaningful names, because right now they are text 1, text 2, text 3, extremely important. One thing I want to remind you again, do not double click on anything else but the button, okay? So that will going to cause unnecessary code behind the scene. So this is my first text box that I would like to call text hours, and the second one I will call text hourly, and the last one I'm calling text gross. So the first one is text hours, the next one is text hourly, and the last one is text gross. Okay, now let me double click on the button. And this is where I am behind the scene. I paste the code that I copied from there, from the console. All my write instructions will disappear because I'm doing that with the help of labels, right? So I do not need those write instructions. My read lines will now be replaced with the text boxes that I created out there. So it's text. This is hourly rate. So we have hourly text box for this purpose, dot text. And then for hours worked, we have text hours dot text. So this is how you grab the text from the text boxes. Once you grab the text from the text boxes, you put them inside the variable after you do the conversion. Now you need to put it back in another text box. So we do not need the write line. We do not need the gross pay because we already wrote that. All we now need is text gross dot text equals to the gross pay dot toString. And I do not need to convert this to double because with the help of toString, I'm already converting into a currency format, which is a string. So that's why I do not need to do, toString, because anyway, I'm doing it toString. Anyway, so let's run it to make sure that it works fine. So here is, so I'll enter number of hours worked 10, hourly rate 15, and here we calculate the gross pay. Now the box is smaller a little bit, so let me do two things. Let me increase the size of the box. That's one thing. The other thing is I will make it read-only. True. So that way nobody can modify it. It will only be for read-only purpose. So it will just display the output. So it is 10 hours, 15 hourly rate, and it's 150. Okay, if I do 15.5, it can also do that. Okay, so 10.5, so I can just go in decimals as well. The other thing I want to do is I want to change the text on the form. So just so that you are also getting used to of that, we're going to call this one assignment 3 part B. And here, when I'm running this application, the last thing is that you see the title bar and hours worked, hourly rate. So it's like 15.66 hours worked and 15.22 gross pay. And here you go. Okay. Anyway, so hope you would have enjoyed this tutorial and this process of me walking you through how to do your assignment. And if you have any questions, let me know. Take care. Till the next video. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.